Next on the Gospel Bill Show.
We're the Higmans, and I was wondering, could you possibly tell me where the local banking establishment is in this town?
The bank? Sure, be glad to.
Pardon me, Mr. Tutwater. I need to talk to you about a rash of bank burglaries that have taken place in the Southwest Territory.
There is nothing to worry about here. What with my new state-of-the-art vault, no one could break into this bank.
Well, it looks like the bank's open a little bit too late.
It's the Gospel Bill Show, featuring Gospel Bill, his sidekick Nicodemus, Miss Lana, good old Elmer Barnes, and the entire Dry Gulch gang.
You know, Miss Lana, it's never too early to think about one's future.
Well, that's right, Nicodemus.
I realize right now I'm a young, handsome, dashing cowboy, the Romeo of this whole city, but one of these days I'm going to get old and I'm going to have to retire.
Well, that's true.
And as I think about them golden years of retirement, two words seem to keep coming to my mind.
Let me guess. Old age.
Well, that's certainly two retirement-type words, but no, the words that keep coming to me are brain surgeon.
Brain surgeon? What does a brain surgeon have to do with old age?
Miss Lana, brain surgeons make a whole lot of money, and it's not hard work like cowboying.
But you don't know anything about being a brain surgeon.
Oh, what do you got to know? I mean, I know it's located up here somewhere in the head, and sometimes you just got to go in and tune them up a little bit. Listen, the way I got it figured, see, I'm going to move down to the Caribbean. I'm going to buy me this little grass hut. I'll reach out and pluck fruit early in the morning, and then I'll get up about 10:30, 11-ish, and go down and do a couple of brain surgeries, and then take off the whole rest of the afternoon and make a whole bunch of money.
Nicodemus, you are in for a rude awakening.
You really think so?
Look, it's a little elderly couple. I don't believe I've seen them before, have you?
No, I've never seen them.
Well, they look lost. Why don't you go help them, Nicodemus?
Oh, sure. Hey, they're old enough, maybe they're into brain surgery. Howdy, old-timers. My name's Nicodemus. Are you new in town?
What? Am I feeling down?
No, he said, are we new in town?
Oh, why didn't you say so, Sonny? Yes, sir, we are. We're the Higmans. And I was wondering, could you possibly tell me where the local banking establishment is in this town?
The bank? Sure, be glad to. You know, this is a real nice town for old retired type people like you to settle in. We got livery stable, general store, cafe, and then right down here to the end of this street, way down here, that's where the bank is, and it's just chock plumb full of money. This is a real prosperous type town. Hey, speaking of money, you folks couldn't use a little extra money to kind of supplement your income, could you?
What do you have in mind, son?
Well, I can tell you in two words. Brain surgery.
That's nice.
It's a great occupation for retired folks. See, it's real easy work. You just got to use your wrists a little bit, and you can make a whole lot of money doing it, too.
Well, why don't you send us a brochure on that?
I'll sure do that for you, sir.
You know, it's so nice when an old couple like us comes to town and a young man like you offers his assistance. Thanks, Nicky Poo.
Well, I'm glad I could be of service. Good day.
Goodbye. Good day.
Hear that, Jesse? That bank is just loaded with money. And if all the people in this town are as lightweight as our brain surgeon there, we'll do the best job we've ever done.
Yeah, it'll be like shooting fish out of a rain barrel.
Let's go check out that bank.
Let's take a look at some cute little guys who live in the central regions of North America, prairie dogs. Prairie dogs live in large groups, numbering into the hundreds or even thousands of animals. They make their homes in the ground by digging tunnels called burrows. And whenever danger approaches, the prairie dog runs for cover and pops into his hole. Then he is very likely to play hide and seek with his visitors by sitting in the doorway of his burrow. Come on out of there, little fellow. I won't hurt you. Come out and play. I promise not to hurt you. Come on out. You don't trust me, huh? Well, suit yourself. I didn't want to talk to you anyway. Prairie dogs can stand upright on hind legs or scamper about on all fours. They eat grasses and leafy weeds, and each animal eats more than twice its own weight each month. 100 years ago, there were perhaps 5 billion prairie dogs living in North America. Wow! One prairie dog town was 250 miles long and 100 miles wide. Then, as civilization advanced and farmers began to view prairie dogs as pests, their numbers declined. Prairie dogs are not really dogs at all. In fact, they're members of the rodent family. But when explorers first encountered these small animals, they named them prairie dogs because of the yapping and barking sounds that they make. Prairie dog towns can be dangerous for horses and cattle. Because of the holes that appear everywhere, larger animals can easily break their legs. We must always be on guard for the traps that Satan sets for us. They're kind of like prairie dog holes. There are many things in this world that Satan uses to deceive people. Stay away from them. Things like crystal balls, horoscopes, seances, and people who claim to know your future. If you need to know what will happen in the future, God can speak to your heart. Learn a lesson from the prairie dog and watch your step.
Excuse me, sir. I don't believe I caught your name.
Well, my name is T.U. Tutwater, and I am a very, very busy man. Excuse me.
Well, sir, do you have a security vault in that there bank of yours?
Well, of course we've got a vault. This is a state-of-the-art institution. Where do you think I'd keep all that money? Excuse me.
Well, my wife and I were thinking of making a large deposit in your bank.
Excuse me, did you say large deposit?
Very large. You see, my wife and I are quite well off, and we're considering making Dry Gulch our home.
I see. And your name was?
We're the Hegmans.
I see. So nice to meet you. You know, as it happens, I've had a cancellation in my schedule, and if you would like, I could give you the presidential tour of the facility. Now, we could maybe get tea and cookies for the lady, and maybe then we'd start in the vault, and after you've seen that, maybe we could stop in my office and discuss this proposal.
And they're just real nice.
Well, what were they looking for?
Well, they just moved into town from back east, and they just won't know where the bank was. Probably got some valuables and money they want to put in there. So I give them directions.
Oh.
And I think I made a real good impression.
How's that?
Well, I shared with them how that brain surgery could be a supplement to their retirement in their latter years. And they seemed real interested, too.
Oh, Nicodemus. But you really could be a nice blessing to those people. I mean, they're going to need some help moving, help with their horses, heavy things to carry.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to do right now. I reckon I could give them a hand. And besides that, it could help me. Well, it'd be good for me to hang around some old folks, me considering retirement and all. See what makes them tick. I think I'll go find them. Check you later.
See you, Nicodemus.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Hegman, please come right in. And Mrs. Hegman, why don't you take a chair right here? Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Now, first off, I'd like to show you our fine state-of-the-art security system. My new vault we have very cleverly hidden right back here behind my bookcase. Yes, your deposits will be very secure in this bank, but that's not all. We pay the most competitive interest rates in the territory. We give our clients a new calendar on the first of each and every year, and we extend free checking privileges to all those whose balances are in excess of $50,000.
Well, I think we can handle that, don't you, dear?
I think so.
Well, great. Now, if you're prepared to make that deposit, I think I've got the bookwork right here. And, oh, look, I have another one of this year's calendars even.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tutwater, but we don't have the money with us. It's very securely hidden away in our wagon, and, well, we'll have to go back and get it.
Oh, I understand, but now a couple in their twilight years like you are, I wouldn't want you to overextend yourself, so I'd be happy to go out there and help you carry it back in.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. That's very kind of you, but I think we can manage on our own.
You know, I feel so secure with my money here.
Well, if it makes the missus happy, I think we'll be doing business, Mr. Tutwater.
Well, I'll look forward to your return.
Bye.
You know, some things do get better with age.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Hegman, I'm real glad I run into you two. Listen, I know you're new in town and all, just moving in, and, well, I don't have a whole lot to do right now, and I just wanted to offer you my services to help you out. You know, lift a few things for you, tote a few things around, just anything I could do.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Sonny. I believe I heard you correctly there, but right now we just haven't settled on whether or not we're going to make Dry Gulch our home yet.
That's right, but son, that was so sweet of you, Nicky Poo. So sweet, in fact, I'm gonna bake you a pie.
No, you don't have to do that. I don't eat much pie, you know. I'm trying to watch my weight and all.
I insist, young man. A boy as sweet as you deserves his pie. Now, what is your favorite pie?
My favorite pie, I guess if I had a favorite pie, it would be rhubarb pie. You know, with just a few apples in it, little nutmeg, and just a touch of cinnamon. And when you're making the crust, now be sure and don't get too much water in it, because if you do, you try to lift it out of there and it'll fall out of...
Okay, I get what you're saying, son. Don't worry, I'll make the perfect pie for you, Nicky Poo.
Well, that's real sweet of you. And remember, my offer still stands. See you folks later.
Bye.
Hey, good afternoon.
Man, I can't believe how good these disguises are working. People are falling for this right and left.
Hey, Gospel Bill, you ever give much thought to retirement?
Oh, no, Nicodemus, can't say as I have.
Well, I already know what I'm going to do when I retire.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm going into brain surgery.
That's real good.
Yeah, I figure all you need is a good tree saw and a sharp butcher knife, and you make a lot of money at it.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Hey, Gospel Bill, say you get a little older and something goes wrong with your brain. You reckon I could practice on you a little bit?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Hey, that's nice of you. I really appreciate that.
Wait a minute. What did you just ask me?
I asked you if you got older, I could practice brain surgery on you. You said okay.
Nicodemus, you're not about to touch my brain. Well, a brain surgeon has to have years of practice and specialized training. He has to have special tools. You don't know anything about that. You need to stick to cowboying. I apologize. I've been a little bit distracted here.
What are you looking at?
Well, I was kind of studying this map because there's been a rash of bank burglaries in every town in this territory but Dry Gulch, and I can't help but wonder if we're going to be next. Trouble is, the lawmen don't have any suspects or any leads.
Huh.
Don't suppose you've seen any strangers in town, have you?
Nah, I hadn't seen anybody. Well, there's an old retired couple just moved to town, but I don't think they'd be bank robbery suspects. They're real sweet people. In fact, the old man's interested in going into brain surgery. Hey, that gives me an idea. Reckon I get a little older, we could go in business together, you know, brain surgery partners.
Nicodemus, listen to this. I think the only heads that you ought to be working on are dehorning cattle. Now, I'm going to look around town and see if I can find anything suspicious.
Hey, Gospel Bill, you reckon I could take brain surgery by correspondence course?
Annie? Howdy, Tom. Pardon me, Mr. Tutwater, but I need to talk to you about a rash of bank burglaries that have been taking place in the Southwest Territory.
Really?
Yeah, the last few weeks, the banks in Salt City, Alkali Flats, Dripping Springs, and Cripple Creek have all been hit by burglaries.
Sheriff, there is nothing to worry about here. What with my new state-of-the-art vault, no one could break into this bank.
Well, I've talked to each one of these lawmen, Mr. Tutwater, and every one of them seems to think that this bank job that's been pulled was an inside job. Do you have any new employees?
Absolutely none.
Well, is there anybody besides the folks who work for you that know that there's a vault behind that bookcase?
Well, no one other than a little old retired couple thinking about putting some money in here.
Well, Mr. Tutwater, you probably shouldn't let anybody know there's a vault behind that bookcase. And if you see anything that looks suspicious, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know. We don't want what happened in Dripping Springs and those other places happening here in Dry Gulch.
Well, don't worry about it, Sheriff, but I do appreciate your vigilance.
I think we'll pull that bank job tomorrow night. You know, I don't think anybody suspects a thing. I don't think so. Watch out, somebody's coming.
Well, howdy, folks. You must be new here in town.
Hello, Sheriff.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Gospel Bill, and you are the
Hegmans.
Well, the Hegmans of the Waterfords. What is it?
The Hickmans.
The Waterford. Well, Waterford was her maiden name, and I get them confused once in a while.
Oh, I see. Well, if you're having trouble remembering that, it must mean that you haven't been married very long. How long?
5 years.
4 years or 5? What is it?
Well, we dated for about a year before we got married, and sometimes I add that extra year in there.
You silly goose.
Oh, you must be the couple that old Nicodemus was talking about.
Oh, you mean the brain surgeon?
He was a nice boy.
Well, I don't know that you'd call Nicodemus a nice boy, and he's certainly not a brain surgeon, but he is a good fella. Well, what brings you to Dry Gulch? What line of work are you in?
Well, you could say we're in investments.
Oh, I see. Well, I think that you'll find that Dry Gulch is a nice place to live. It's a law-abiding community. We aim to keep it that way. You'll probably be real safe here. Good day.
Good day, Sheriff.
Well, what is it anyway? Waterford or Hegman?
Waterford's.
All right, from now on, it's Waterford. Idiot!
Howdy, guys. Nicodemus, is that old couple you were talking about a while ago?
Yeah, they're a sweet old couple, aren't they?
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
What do you mean? That old lady said she's gonna bake me a pie.
Well, there's something about those folks I can't put my finger on, but I know one thing. It's just not right.
Well, what do you think it is?
Well, I stopped for just a few minutes a while ago to visit with them, and as I did, the Holy Spirit on the inside of me just started telling me there's something about these folks that isn't right. Lana, you know how to hear from the Lord. Why don't you go out there and just visit with them and see if you pick up on anything?
Well, sure. Excuse me, Nicodemus.
Gospel Bill, that seems like a real nice old couple. Don't you think you're being a little too suspicious?
And Nicodemus, I know they look right, but there's something about those people that just isn't what it ought to be. They're up to something no good.
Howdy, folks. My name's Miss Lana, and I operate the general store here in Dry Gulch.
Oh, ma'am, we're the Waterfords.
Well, I just thought I'd introduce myself. Where are you from?
Out west, back east. We've traveled a lot in our many years.
Well, no matter where you're from, I'm sure you're a tidy housekeeper.
A housekeeper? Oh, yes, I'm a very good house.
Your voice. Is there something wrong with your throat?
No, it's all right. It's the water, dear.
Well, now I have some lozenges in the store if you'd like some.
Don't worry your pretty little head about it. It'll be all right.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Nice meeting
Nice
you.
to have met you.
Goodbye.
You idiot! You almost blew our cover. We better pull that job tonight before somebody finds out who we are. Come on, let's go.
Well, Lana, what do you think?
Well, I think you were right. And there's something especially strange about that old woman.
Well, what are you gonna do? Arrest them just because they're acting strange?
No, I can't arrest them until they break the law. But you know what, Nicodemus? Sooner or later, those people are going to do something, and it's going to prove that what God's been telling me about them is right. And I'll see you guys later.
Miss Lena, how do you know when God's talking to you?
Well, Nicodemus, when you become a Christian, God puts His Spirit on the inside of you. The more you read His Word and hear His voice, the easier it is to know when He speaks inside you.
Come on, Frank, hurry! I'm getting it as fast as I can. There, got it. Let's make this quick. Stash the money in the bag when I hand it out to you. And if we keep operating on these banks like this, we won't have to go into brain surgery.
Well, it looks like the bank's open a little bit too late.
Ah, the feeling of money. Don't you just love it? You know, it's too bad I don't get to cook that cowboy a rhubarb pie.
Too bad. Are you kidding? If you'd have cooked him the thing the way you cook, he'd have probably died.
Oh, be quiet. You love my cooking. Give me that money. How much more we got left?
Oh, boy, I tell you, I think there's at least $100,000 more in here.
Oh, that's real good.
Oh, no.
Hey, you people really are into investments. But the trouble is, it's with other people's money, Mr.
Waterford. Waterford.
Well, you know, it doesn't really matter because the both of you are under arrest. But I got some good news for you. You have a very secure future. You're both going to be locked up in the territorial prison for a long, long time.
But we fooled everybody else in this town. How did you know?
But when I talked to you this afternoon, the Spirit of God on the inside of me told me there was something not right about you two. But that's not all. I took one look at you and I said, I don't think there's a man alive who'd marry a woman who looks like that. Come on, let's go.
Look out! Woo! All right. God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. So I resist you, spirit of fear. In the name of Jesus, you get out of here. Well, God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. Yeah. You know the wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. So listen, devil, I boldly say, in the name of Jesus, get out of my way. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. The devil's trying to push you around. He's after your soul. You're gonna have to stand up to him. You got to be bold. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. So listen, devil, I boldly say, in the name of Jesus, get out of my way. Well, the wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion, 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 lion. All right. Hey. hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. No, God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. So I resist you, spirit of fear. In the name of Jesus, you get out of here. God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound. Power, love, and a sound. Power, love, and a sound mind.
The Bible says in Proverbs 20:27 that the spirit of man is the candle of the Lord. You know what that means? It means that when Jesus comes to live in your heart, He's there to guide you and to lead you, and He can warn you if you're about to be taken advantage of by the wrong kind of people. God's Spirit inside us wants to help us so that we can be free from all the traps that old Satan would like to set for us. So, the next time you get around someone and on the inside of you, your heart says, get away from these people, they're not right at all, you listen to that. That could be your spirit warning you that those people have the wrong attitude, because God's Spirit will lead you and guide you and keep you safe from all danger. The Bible says that His Spirit is inside us to guide us and to show us the way. Some things do get better with age.